law school. He served 12 remarkable years as governor of Arkansas. His presidency was marked as the longest period of peacetime economic expansion in U.S. history. And international policy successes, beginning with the Family and Medical Leave Act, vaccines for children, welfare reform, children's health insurance, expansion of the Earned Income Tax Credit, doubling the NIH budget, the Brady Bill. He balanced the budget and instituted numerous international projects, including the first efforts to deal with the growing global AIDS crisis and the continuing crises in the Middle East and Ireland. His post-presidency has been equally brilliant. The Clinton Foundation's HIV/AIDS strategy focused on reducing poverty, energy and climate change, and mitigating religious and ethnic conflicts reflects both his leadership and his compassion. Please welcome the man from Hope, who has never forgotten the most vulnerable in our world, my friend and my former boss, the 42nd President of the United States,
delighted to be here at the University of Miami. I am very, very honored that Donna Shalala invited me to do this. You are fortunate to have her as your leader. Some of you may know this, but Donna Shalala served as the Secretary of the Department of Health and Human Services longer than anyone in history, but also better than anyone. And among the things that she did was to immunize over 90% of our children against serious childhood diseases for the first time in the history of the Chinese government and the private sector to lift more people out of poverty there in a brief period than ever before. It has enabled the Indian government to reclaim the historic legacy of India, where arithmetic was founded as a leader in information technology. But there's a lot that's not so good about this interdependent world. It is, and there are three principal objections. One is it's unequal. Half the world's people still live on less than $2 a day. 1 billion people on less than $1 a day. 1 billion people who have no access to clean water. 1 billion go to bed hungry every night. 2.5 billion have no access to sanitation. 1 in 4 of all deaths this year will come from AIDS, TB, malaria, and infections related to dirty water, things that will kill virtually anybody here ever met. Even people who are HIV positive in the United States, if they get medication sooner enough and have good interventions and take care of themselves, can look forward to long lives. So this is an unequal world. Sometimes I read columns where people are really upset that Hugo Chavez is popular in Venezuela and Mr. Morales became the first native Indian elected president of Brazil, and now Mr. Correa in Ecuador. If you were a 45-year-old Bolivian miner whose body was old before its time and you had 4 children whom you thought would never get any benefits from your long years of labor except a thin scrap of food on the table at night, and there were no reasonable prospects that you're going to attend, I think I'm pretty good at running things. I don't think I can take over General Motors, spot Toyota $1,400 a car, and beat them in the competitive marketplace. I don't think I can. In the last 5 years, and I told you this before, while the number of families without health insurance has declined by, the number of families with health insurance in the workplace has declined by 4%, employment at health insurance companies has increased by 32%. What are they doing? Figuring out how not to pay or delay payment. We spend 34% of our dollars on administrative costs between the providers and the insurers. No other country that I can find at least spends more than 19. The difference between 19 and 34% of GDP is $300 billion. Now McKinsey says it's only $100 billion, at least on the part of the providers or the insurers, but it's a big number. And no one believes it would cost more than 70 or 80 outside $100 billion to provide insurance for everybody. The reason I'm boring you with all these numbers is that we will not succeed here unless we both insure everybody and figure out something to do about cost. We won't. We do
ask hard questions.
I get asked that a lot, and believe it or not, I've had different feelings at different times. But, I believe that we demonstrated you can have economic progress and social justice and that the government can work again. You have no idea. A lot of you can't believe this, but the level of cynicism about government when we all moved to town was unbelievable. People, a huge majority of the people had been told since President Reagan was elected that government was the problem and would always mess up a 2-car parade. And so, yes, maybe our economic program was the most important thing, or maybe, we cutting the welfare rolls by 58% and reducing poverty was the most important thing. One thing I'm very proud of is that we had 50% more jobs in my